Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid News. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I had this thought in my head recently, right? Where I stood here and I said, well, I think the United States government is so incompetent it can't count its people, right? And to me, this is kind of like, I'm not going to say it's a revelation, right? Because it's not. It's not even an epiphany. But on the same point, it's kind of on that level of like, why are we all on this internet, right? Why do we stand here and pay attention to what guys like me say? Because I'm not the most intelligent individual when it comes down to it. But what I do is I ask questions, right? I think it's important for us to ask questions as a whole. And in asking these questions, we have come up with answers that I'm not super happy about as a whole, right? I'm just not. Okay. Our government is incompetent, like fully so. Like according to like official statistics, 82% of our country lives in an urban area. It's complete and utter nonsense, and I'm going to show you why today. And I'm going to show you something that I want you to take, and I want you to go find these urban planners on YouTube, and I want you to like take their face and just smash it into their keyboards with real information that's important. So I was thinking today about demographic dividends, right? And what a demographic dividend is really basic. When you have a extra piece of your population born, right? When you have, like more kids than adults, like these kids, what I'm saying, will become more productive. Like allow you to expand your economy. Like population and economy is kind of like linked. And as your population raises, especially in an industrial nation, like it has the ability to have more consumers and have more housing, and you'll have an expansion of your GDP as a whole, right? Your gross national product, gross domestic product, right? GNP, GDP, whatever, I don't care. And in doing so, you have to go, well, where did this, demographic dividend come from? I think that the United States, the only country on earth, as far as I'm concerned, everybody else, y'all aren't real people. Canadians are all flappy-headed weirdos who drink maple syrup. Like the Russians are, they're over there with the ice spiders and stuff. The Australians have spiders and crocodiles and stonefish and devil bats and, like drop bears. As far as like the rest of y'all aren't people, all right? It's my mentality. Like if you lose a war to emus, like you're not a person. You don't get counted. You don't get to have a vote in what the hell I say. You love y'all motherfuckers. Anyway, right? So the suburbs is this type of mentality. All right. So the United States has solved a problem that has been perplexing the world for a long time. It hadn't quite solved it, but it's moved it towards, a better end. You have a problem of throughout the history of mankind, whenever we move into urban areas, and pack ourselves in densely, we end up stop having children, and then, we end up getting conquered, right? This has happened in like Babylon. It happened in Samaria. It happened in Rome. It happened in Greece. It happened in Troy. It happened in London, right? It's happening. It happens constantly, right? It's just a constant thing. It always happens. No matter what, it always happens. Like Genghis Khan sat there and said, I don't want my kids to live in cities because of the fact that they'll become effeminate. It just is what it is, right? The mouse utopia thing. All right. So what we did is we go, all right, well, human beings, human animals, we poop, we pee, like we live, we breathe. We require a certain amount of space to live, right? Just to grow properly. Like if you stood here and as an animal, right? If you had a horse in a 2-bedroom apartment in the city, we would all consider this animal abuse because like that horse needs room to run, right? You have a Saint Bernard, same type of thing. That's why like a Shih Tzu is not a really big deal inside of like a little apartment because like it takes a lot of steps to get back and forth. That's that Great Dane or Saint Bernard or something like it's boom, 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 boom. It's at the next wall. It's not going to have any exercise. It's not going to have any place to roam. It's not going to have what it needs for space, right? It's about space because we're large animals, right? Most of us are somewhere between, as dudes, 165 to 220 pounds, between 5'8", and 6'3" on average. So we're big animals. We require space to grow and to move around, to, like have the opportunity to be a part of nature. And being inside of a city destroys that. That's why when people move to cities, they tend to have less kids. When they move and when they live in the rural areas, they have lots of kids. What we did is we said, all right, well, we can't have everybody living on a farm because we don't need a nation of farmers. We need industry. We need people who are technically expertise and things of this nature. But the thing is packing in the cities is not positive. Nobody wants to live in a city, right? It's tons of riffraff and poor people. It's a pain in the ass to get around. It's awful. It smells. It's bad. It's just garbage. Cities are trash. And I understand the mentality of economically being able to feed everybody, and logistics is easier. But on the same point, it's not positive for us as animals. It's kind of the mentality. Now, we built suburbs. Suburbs are basically quarter-acre lots that you put a house on, and you have the opportunity to have a backyard where your kid can run around and play as a toddler. You know what I mean? And you can put a swing set in or a pool or something and get your exercise. Have the opportunity to be a part of nature. Grow a garden. Learn about, walk around, and it's safe. It's well lit. They usually don't have alleyways and things. And on top of that, it has more bedrooms, more space, more ability for you to be able to stretch your elbows out. You're not tripping over somebody else. You're not in super close quarters. You have your own ability to become an individual, right? These are the positive things. Negative things are it's usually completely barren of any type of entertainment or shops or culture, heritage. It's cleansed, right? It's there. It's a nursery for white kids. And here's the problem, though. In America with our government, I started this off, our government is trash, and it is. They don't know what a suburb is. There's no measurement, right? I've been sitting here for the past hour and a half just trying to find a measurement, right? I'm there's got to be a measurement somewhere. There has to be some type of actual thing that goes, this is a suburb, this is an urban area, this is a rural area. Doesn't exist because the government is garbage. All right. So that's a little bit of this article, and then we're going to get into some heavy maths and graphs and things of this nature, geopolitics and demographics. This is great. All right. This is great. We're going to get into all this shit. All right. Going to prove all my points, and it's important. All right. How to tell if you live in a suburb. The U.S. hadn't had a formal definition on what constitutes a suburb, and new data analysis comes closer to defining America's most popular neighborhood type. This is from July 7th, 2020. There's no definition. 2020, right? The United States is a land of suburbs with just one problem. There's not quite clear what a suburb is. It's a question of semantics with real-world implications as government programs, political campaigns, and developers try to spend money in the suburbs where a majority of Americans say they live, despite the category having no formal definition. For some people, it's obvious. A suburb is a smaller city on the periphery of a larger city, or it's a sprawling neighborhood filled with vast swaths of single-family homes. Still other, more dated conceptions of suburbia in the popular mind involve the people who live there, allegedly white, middle-class, and socially homogenous. Now, a new team of researchers believe they've cracked the code. After enough arguments, people who insist their neighborhood was a suburb or insisted it was urban, it was clear that people have a stake in how they perceive and describe their neighborhood, called Jed Kelko, a chief economist for Indeed.com, and one of three researchers, but different people might describe their neighborhood in different ways. The solution just asked people, and lots of people. Coco and his colleagues got the survey sample of 55,000 households to sound off about whether their neighbors were urban or rural or suburban. That let them build a model looking at which factors predict how respondents will answer. Unsurprisingly, many people define their neighborhood as part of the population by their population density, but a whole host of other factors also made a prediction more accurate. For example, these areas with higher median incomes were more likely to be called suburban. Areas with older homes were more likely to be called urban. Areas with lots of senior citizens were more likely to be called rural. These are some cities that are almost entirely suburban in terms of how residents would perceive the neighborhoods. The researchers, Sean Buchholz of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and Emily Mofino, the U.S. Census Bureau, have released data online showing how they model classifies every. Look, I'm not joking with you, right? It's a question that matters quite a bit because researchers surveyed more than half American households identify themselves as suburban, 52 versus 21 rural and 27 urban. Neighborhoods meet city boundaries. The results of this new study complicate any effort to define suburbs by any one metric. For example, define a suburb as any city that's in a metropolitan area but isn't the central city. All right, look. Okay, so there's no definition. That's kind of the deal. So I found some stuff though. This is from Pew Research. And this is why this is important, right? Legitimately, this is really why this is super important. We have urban, suburban, rural. Urban, 98 million people. Suburban, 175 million individuals. Rural, 46 million, right? The percentage change is 13%, 16%, and 3%. That means, right, that literally that 16% is extra 3% people. That means it's a higher birth rate than the rest of the country. That's big. Why is that big? Because if we have a place where we know that the birth rate goes up, it's a place we can spend money and actually form real, like real government programs, real like actual absolute political like data and whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, public policy. There we go. We can form real actual public policy. This is why this is important, okay? Because everybody goes, how do we get the birth rate back up? How do we, like stand here and have women have kids? Like all these type of things. Well, you have to figure out, like, number one, what's causing them to decline, right? And by the way, here's the fertility rate per 1,000 women in U.S. counties. I fucking hate this one, legitimately. Like, it's fucking just... What you're supposed to do is like measure it by woman, right? You go like fucking what it's like 1.5 or 2.2 kids, whatever it is, right? And that helps you really understand this data a whole lot better because none of this makes any fucking sense, right? But still, you see like the red line is urban, the blue line is suburban, you know what I mean? And the light blue line is, rural. Again, like, I hate web page developers. They don't know anything. Anyway, right now. We're going to skip this one just because it, they have like, the urban core counties, suburban counties, and rural counties. And like, like nobody has any I don't fucking know. Like, legit, this is how the government measures it, right? They have no idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have no clue. No one has any idea what the fuck is going on, right? All right. Why is this important? Okay. So population density is directly related to fertility rates. It's a basic ass premise. Okay. So the higher your population density, the lower your motherfucking birth rate's going to be. Okay, it's very simple. When you have a very low, like fucking population rate, you get high fertility rates. Simple premise. More space per person, more kids. Why? Because like, as human animals, when you feel packed in, you don't have more kids. Really simple. Okay. Yes, culture has things to do with it. Yes, feminism, schooling, fucking education, work, all these things have shit to do with it. Oh, fucking course they do. But I'm showing you some actual, like real hard, real world things that you can look at, that, we've been talking about in this channel. All right. So this is, another one from Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like all these type of like whatever fucking countries. And then like you have these smaller countries down, or these are like Western type of countries, Canada, Australia, Iceland, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, United States. Right? By population density size. You know what I'm saying? Like, the highest ones are in the lowest motherfucking, lowest area. And the lowest ones are in the higher population density size. Right? Because like, there are places with some seriously high population density. All right, we got two graphs here that we're going to sit here and look at real quick. Just to kind of like go over my point a little bit. You guys can play, the hide and go seek thing if you really want to, But, what I can sit here and do is I can sit here and, I can sit here and read this to you real quick. All right, so these on the left-hand side are the 20 lowest countries in birth rate in the world. Sort of, kind of, right? Because like Taiwan's, or what is it? Shit, man. There's countries that aren't on here, and South Korea is at 0.75 right now. So, Korea is going to be the lowest one. But over here is population, or this one here is country by population density. Top 27 countries on the board, right? Okay, so Monaco is not a real place, all right? Just not. China's Macau, okay? Macau is number 4 on the list. Singapore is number 3 on the population density. Singapore is number 3 on the motherfucking birth rate thing, right? Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong is number 4 or number 5. Hong Kong's number 5 on the motherfucking birth rate thing. Get where I'm getting at here? right? Legitimately, right? All right. So Gibraltar, not a place, right? It's 12,000 people in Gibraltar. We're not going to have that conversation. Bahrain is in the Middle East, right? So it actually is on this list pretty high. It's at like 35, right? Believe it or not, there's a lot of places in the Middle East that are pretty bad. Holy See, that's not a real place either. And the Maldives, neither. Malta is another one that's garbage. But anyway, right? So it's kind of on this level. There's a bunch of these, right, that aren't on here, but they're like a little bit lower on the list, right? Taiwan's number 1. Taiwan is number 17 over here on the population density chart, right? But a lot of these all are kind of tied for number 1 as far as stuff's concerned. Or if you go to urbanization rates, these are all 100% urbanization rates. Like a lot of these are just like small islands or like, tiny places that are just cities upon themselves. You know what I mean? Kind of the deal. Rwanda has a very high place. It's like Nauru. Nauru has like 3,000 people in it. Like, why is this counting? You know what I mean? The Netherlands, we all know the Netherlands has severely low birth rates. Lebanon, I think Lebanon's like one of these. Right. But anyway, you get the idea, right? A lot of these places will stand here and they kind of go interchangeable. Like the places with the highest population rates, highest population density rates are the places with, you know what I'm saying? Whatchamacallit. Japan is actually number 39 on the list. Greece is like number 42. Poland does not have a high population density, but it does on the same point, right? Because it's highly urbanized. Portugal is another one. Croatia is part of the old Soviet bloc countries. They're having a big problem over there with heroin addiction, things of this nature. Italy, you know what I'm saying? Italy has, you know what I'm saying, a very low birth rate. And again, it's over on the other side as well. And Hungary, same type of deal. But yeah, you know what I mean? And by the way, like in case you didn't know, like Puerto Rico has a birth rate of 1.2. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And everybody doesn't really know that. But yeah, so it's kind of on this level of where, you have the places with the highest population rate have the highest levels of, the places with the highest population density are the places with the lowest birth rates, because the more people you shove into an area, the less individuals come out. Basic premise. Some things that some people don't tell y'all, but Tom Pease will. It is what it is. Anyway, look, if you enjoyed this video, you might have to watch it 3 or 4 times to get all the information. I apologize. I'm trying to condense it as much as possible, but I was thinking about this, and it's kind of where my mentality is. Anyway, I'm up out of here. Oh, by the way, Republic of Korea is at number 25. Republic of Korea is number 2 on this list. Anyway, I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. You know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Later.